All right, so welcome back into the 9:30 half hour of WCBI on Fox 4, joined again by Sports Director John Sokoloff. And today we're going to talk about some Ole Miss baseball. Now, Ole Miss, they have not had the season that they probably would have liked, but their season is not over. 2 more weekend series to go, and not necessarily done as far as making the postseason.
No, it's definitely not. And one, I want to keep things a little more casual today. We had the suit yesterday, the polo. I'm always going to keep you guessing. I like it. That's how we're going to roll. No, I mean, it's not over. They're 9-15 in SEC play this year, and they've just got a monumental season this week, or series, this weekend against number 3 Texas A&M. I mean, this will, I don't want to say make or break their season, but at 9-15. They were 14-16 last year, or 2 years ago, and barely made the NCAA tournament. They were the last team in. But the good news for them is they're 25th in RPI. So, I mean, that kind of keeps them there. But if they can somehow win 2 or 3 against Texas A&M, man, I mean, they'll be feeling pretty good because then you got LSU to end it, and then basically you go 5-1. I think you're feeling pretty good going into Selection Sunday. Yeah,
5-1. I mean, that's a pretty tall task, especially with the last 2 series they have coming up. LSU's been playing much better baseball as of late.
They just beat number 3 Texas A&M LSU in that series.
They did, and speaking of that, what do you really how much of a chance do you give the Rebels to actually get in? Because, I know after they beat Mississippi State in that series, they were talking about they think that this team has what it takes to make another magical run. What are your thoughts on that?
Well, it's kind of tough because, as of now being 9-15 and looking at what's ahead for them in playing that Texas A&M team that's, again, number 3 for a reason. They are frightening to have to play against. But I mean, look, they've done this before. They were 7-14 in conference 2 years ago and ended up winning a national championship. And a couple of those guys, the Reagan Burfords, the Mason Nichols, the Josh Mallises, I mean, they're all still on the team. So they've been part of that ride before. So it can be done. But, man, it's going to be really tough. Texas A&M is frightening. So I guess you just got to slowly kind of climb that mountain. If they can win 2 or 3, taking the game at a time, that would be good. But I mean, honestly, the pitching on the weekends, there are guys who have potential, and the Liam Doyle and the Mason Nichols, but I mean, they just got to kind of take that next step and show, being elite weekend SEC guys.
Yeah, now I know that social media has been talking, and a lot of Ole Miss baseball fans, especially to start the season, they weren't very happy with head coach Mike Bianco. Does he need to win these last 2 series? Is he coaching for his job in the last 2 weeks of the SEC season?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, that's really tough, considering how he's kind of helped build the program, how you're so close removed from a national title. I mean, just 2 years ago, that would be tough to say. I mean, look, and comparing to, in the state, Mississippi State with Chris Lemonis, I mean, they had a couple tough years after winning a national title. Now look at them this year. They really put the pieces together. So, I mean, I don't think he should. Whether or not he will or won't, I'm not 100% sure on that front, I would say.
No, I know on campus, after the beginning of the season, Chris Lemonis, a lot of fans were calling for his job, but, they've turned things around. Now, Mike Bianco, he's been there for a long time. He was working as the head coach of Ole Miss when I was at WCBI the first time.
So you covered him.
Yeah, I covered him when he was there. And, Ole Miss, they have a great fan base, great tradition, and as a Mississippi State guy, I always want the Bulldogs to defeat the Rebels, but you always want the home team in the home state to do well. So, with that being said, the prospects for Ole Miss baseball, again, the last few years haven't been what we expected. Can Ole Miss get back to where they need to be that just every year dominant team in the SEC like we're used to seeing them be?
I think they definitely could be because, you still have that the championship pedigree because it was so recent, just a few years ago. But that's why, it's so crazy how just a few things going your way could really alter stuff. Look at these standings right here. Ole Miss, they're 9-15. If they win this series against Texas A&M this weekend, they're feeling great about their postseason hopes. Just got to take care of business against LSU, and then who knows? If they go 14-16 with their RPI, that could be really good. But if they lose or get swept this weekend, then LSU is on the other side of that. And also, Missouri 7-17. If Missouri ends up beating Auburn this weekend, who's in last place, then Ole Miss could fall into one of the bottom 2 teams in the conference and not even make it to the SEC tournament. So it's just wild. You just get that little break, and that really kind of helps you, because you saw with Ole Miss a couple years ago, they got that little break. They were the last team in, and they won a national championship.
Yeah, the SEC definitely really tough. Real quick, what's coming up tonight at 10?
Tonight at 10, we will have obviously some Game 3 action as well with South Pontotoc and West Lauderdale. Ended in a walk-off to see who will play Ripley in the 4A championship series.
Can't wait to see it. All right, John, appreciate you, and we'll see you back here. Ashley has weather coming up for you next.